You know, ladies and gentlemen, I just finished making a video about how Natalia Serenova, a Spanish game reviewer, has been denied a review code for Avowed because she was too harsh with Dragon Age the Veilguard. I literally just made a video on that. Apparently, we're seeing that happen also with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle to an extent, but just in a different way, right? So we're seeing now that Xbox is blocking all reviews, all of them, every single one of them, about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle until the game essentially releases.
That's suspicious.
Now, I think that's absolutely insane, ladies and gentlemen. And it's very obvious that we are now at a time where they do not want any transparency whatsoever. They barely wanted transparency in the first place when it came to video games, because we all know the gaming industry doesn't have a lot of transparency, which is why gaming YouTubers are on the rise and becoming more successful, because they are showcasing transparency where the industry doesn't want to do it. But apparently now they're trying to get to the point where they don't even give reviews out, or they don't let reviews go out for their game until the game actually releases, in the hopes that they can then try to bait and switch as many people as they possibly can before eventually getting those refunds. So let's get into this article from Fandom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. And yes, my voice is still shot, but it's coming back little by little, and we just gotta deal with it. Machine Games, Bethesda Softworks, and Xbox are now blocking reviews of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle until the game goes into advanced access. Now, advanced access, obviously early access, but the game is still released at this point, right? So most people who are gonna buy this game day one are going to get early access. That's just the truth of it. So they are trying to absolutely quell the obvious storm that they know is coming their way. This is a massive red flag to me. I don't know about you guys. You could disagree with me in the comments or whatever. That's fine. But this is a massive red flag to me. When a studio does this and they refuse to let people review the game at least a couple of days ahead of release, this is a huge, huge, huge red flag. And I know that there are a few studios that have done this in the past, but for the most part, people are allowed to review the game up to normally a few days before release. But now apparently they don't want to do that. They only want you to have the reviews out at the same time that the game releases. You know who else started to do that? Movies, right? You know who else started to do that? TV show reviews. They started to do it to the point where the embargoes would not lift until the TV show came out. That's literally what they would do, in the hopes to try to maximize the amount of people that would watch the first 2 episodes of a TV show, because that's the number that they take to investors to say, hey, look, we did a good job. Even though the number falls off completely towards the end of the season and only has 30% of the viewership it had at the beginning of the season, but that doesn't matter. They take the first 2 episodes and they say, hey, look, we did a great job. Give us more money. That's what they do. And now they're trying to do that with video games. It's actually kind of sad. James Lara at MP First reports that he and the website were given a review copy, and that the official embargo to publish reviews of the game does not lift until the game goes into advanced access. Lara wrote, for those wondering exactly when the review embargo lifts for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, we can confirm that reviews will go live starting December 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. To be clear, according to Steam support, advanced access is not a unique model of development for a game. It's simply an opportunity to play a game before it fully releases on Steam. And the official Steam page for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle makes it clear that the game will go into advanced access 3 days ahead of full release for anyone who purchases the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle Premium Edition. Given the game releases to everyone else who does not purchase the Premium Edition on December 7th, it means that advanced access begins on December 5th, the same day that review embargoes will be lifted. Massive red flag, in my opinion. I'm sorry, it just is. Massive red flag. So you are going to allow the reviews to come out on the day where people pay the maximum amount of money in order to get advanced access? Don't you guys think that's absolutely insane, right? So you got to pay $100. You already got their money, right? You got the $100, and now you're hoping that those early reviews don't make people refund, because that's really what it is. Let's be very clear. That is what it is. They want to minimize the amount of refunds that are eventually going to come their way if they were to have a review drop a couple of days before advanced access, which is why they're waiting now until the day of advanced access in order to allow the reviews to come out. So that way, the people who paid $100, well, they got them, right? They got them. The chances are they're going to play longer than 2 hours on Steam, and at that point, it's going to be very difficult for them to get a refund. This is insane. Like, it's so predatory in the practices, it's nuts. And this is why when I talk about issues in the gaming industry, it is not just DEI. It's not just wokeness. There are a bunch of other shit that's happening in the gaming industry that we absolutely have to talk about. And this is one of them. Lack of transparency is a major issue. It is a major problem in this industry or in entertainment in general. Let's be real, because they know that the conversation right now about most projects are not very good, right? Especially when the studios have been known to push certain ideologies in their video games that come at the cost of the actual game's performance or gameplay or story or whatever. We know this to be true. The numbers speak for themselves. You could take us out the equation and the numbers still speak for themselves. People are fed up, number one. People also have a massive backlog that they don't gotta buy this new shit. You know how many people are in my comment section constantly telling me all the time that they have a backlog that could last them until the day they freaking die, which I fully believe them because I also have a backlog that can last me till the day I die. So it's like, what are we honestly doing here? Seriously, this lack of transparency is really pathetic, and it just shows a level of, I guess you could say, just a level of lack. I don't even know what to even say, bro, at this point. I'm so dumbfounded at what I'm reading right now, but you know what? I can't even pretend to be shocked. That's one thing I will say. Cannot pretend to be shocked. And we're seeing just an overall lack of trust in their product that they don't want reviews out until the day actually, that the game releases. The fact that the game is not allowing reviews to go live until the game goes into advanced access is likely not a good sign for the game's quality and content. I agree. The game already does not appear to be shaping up well sales-wise. Despite the game going into advanced access in just 3 days, the game is currently sitting at just 179th on Steam's top seller list. Furthermore, the game only has 43,000 total followers on Steam. It is 26 on Steam's most wishlisted upcoming Steam games. This game is cooked. I'm telling you, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is cooked. There is no way that this game is going to sell a lot of copies. There just isn't. And I don't know how much money they spent on this game, but I gotta imagine, considering it's the Indiana Jones IP, which is not exactly very cheap to adopt, I would imagine, even after the failure of the movie that came out recently, I gotta imagine they spent a pretty penny on this game. And there's no freaking way, based off the numbers that we are looking at right now, that this game is going to sell anything worth it. Even Dragon Age the Veilguard got to some of the top lists right before the game came out, right? It was like, I think, top 10 in games most wishlisted or top 10 in top sellers or whatever. And even that game flopped. So there's no way that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is not going to flop. Dragon Age the Veilguard, a month later, still has not announced 1 million total units sold because they didn't reach it, right? Even Star Wars Outlaws announced 1 million units sold, but for some reason, Dragon Age the Veilguard is completely quiet. It's because they haven't reached a number yet. Hopefully they can reach it during the holiday season, but they haven't reached a number yet. So the game is an unbelievable flop. And I don't care what the shills say at the end of the day. The numbers speak for themselves. Take me out of it. Take them out of it. When you look at the numbers, it's very clear that the game is an absolute failure. So you're going to have the same thing happen here with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And again, with the reviews not being allowed early, you got to imagine they don't have a lot of faith in the product that they're about to deliver to you at your doorstep. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.